Okay, so can I hear that? Alright, so here I'm going to talk about world building for D&D. Now, I started this topic, I realized it's too big, masyado malaki for this, for the time limit that I have. So I went and tried to focus on one aspect of world building, which is creating a city. So this is a technique that I've learned from, I'll show you later, from where I got it. This is a technique we call the sperm technique. It is called the sperm technique. So, of course, when you're playing a D&D, for me, as a DM, one of the most important aspects that I want always to be in my games is the immersion. I want the players to be immersed and the characters to be fully immersed with what is happening in the world. So for me, the world building is important as a DM. So, when you're running a homebrew game, you will prepare the world, prepare the cities, prepare the kingdoms. But when you're running a hardcover campaign, usually that's prepared already for you, so you just have to read it. Question is, how do you start it? So, of course, when you're running a homebrew game, and then you need the city, for example, there are a lot of tools out there you can use. For example, this one, I just found it on the CIO. So it's a random city generator. It will spawn, oops, I don't think there's something correct. It can spawn cities on the fly. So,
Wait.
it's a random city. That's a website. It's a random city generator. So there. So you can generate cities out of there. Yeah, just check the website of TableTalk. Right. So that's one of the tools I like to explore because, for example, we got the city, and then we want to edit it. So, for example, you want to edit this. I want to extend the walls here. It's not working. So, I said to extend the walls. I want to make it larger. And that's it. So it's a very helpful tool if for the homebrew builders out there. Now, going back to the thing, this is the first. Now that you have a tool to make a city, to make it visual, you know where the places are. It's time to go to what I call the sperm. So what is the sperm?
What is it? What is it? What is it, Marvin? You better explain it right.
Alright, so actually it's a tool that I learned from this girl over here. So she's one of my favorite DMs. DM Myers on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. But she came up with this. SPERM stands for social, political, economic, religion, and military. So, for example, as a player walks into the city and you don't have the city prepared, or it's a homebrew campaign, it's not fully prepared for you or anything. As a player walks into the city and the player wants to go somewhere, right? So you'll have to provide them, the player, of the social aspect of the city. You have to show. So most of the time, it's the tavern. It's always a tavern. A lot of things happens in the tavern. The party meets up in the tavern. So that's one social aspect, right? Because that's where people of the city would meet. Well, sometimes other players actually are calling it overrated. Taverns are overrated because that's where everything meets or everything starts. So you can start with other places. Like if it's a big enough city, I'm sure they will have a city plaza or a city center. A town center, or it's a city plaza where people can gather and meet up. Since in the medieval times, Tinder's not even invented yet, so you have to meet the actual people in the town plaza, and then you come across someone, swipe left, swipe right. So it's up to you. So there. So that's the social aspect of the city. Then you think of the political aspect of the city. So who's running the city? So if it's a city, most of the time there will be a mayor, city mayor, or if it's a big enough city, it could be the capital. So sometimes there could be the king. So those are the peoples that the characters can meet inside the city that they can interact with if they want to know what's going on, what's happening, who runs the place. So that's And then economic. So, of course, our favorite sessions of D&D are the shopping sessions. I know I've spent a lot of hours running games where the players just buy stuff. Like I have prepared this very, 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 very evil villain that will face, and I've written paragraphs of monologue from the villain, and 4 hours later, they're still shopping. Right? It's fine. It's the best experience ever. For me, as a DM, that's one of my best experiences as DM because I get to watch people debate about what to buy, where to go, does this fit them or what. So, anyway, so economics, so it's an important aspect of the city building. So, where do you put, the city will always have a place where people can buy stuff. And to make it more immersive, think of how you shop in real life, right? When you shop for things, you want everything close to each other, right? No one would go like buy meat on this block and then we'll have to move two blocks to buy vegetables and 2 blocks to buy rice, right? So you want everything there. That's why the Chinese invented SM, right? Because because we want everything to be there.
That was an amazing invention.
That's the best invention of the 20th century, SM, right? So that's what they do. Well, in medieval times, usually in D&D lore, there's no SM because aircon hasn't been invented. So, usually the player will walk across the street and they'll find all the shops there.
So a street market.
A street market.
So SM.
But it's not SM because there's no aircon. So that's it. All right. Then religion. Now, religion is for the world that we're building for the D&D. Usually, it's set in medieval era, right? So religion is a very, very big aspect of the social life of the people there. Right? People in the medieval times are religious, unlike today, like we don't go to church anymore, right? So yeah. So for building an immersive world, you can put temples or churches or shrines all over the city. Most of the time, if you wanna copy how medieval cities work, before one city is most of the time focused on one deity or one patron, one city. So like Athens for Athena and Delphos for Apollo. Anyway, yeah. So there, or maybe your city has no religion. Maybe your civilization that you're running has no religion. That's fine, but there will still be something that will act as religion. Maybe it's a cult, pala. I don't know. Next, military. So, military is the people who are the authority or the organization that patrols the street and watch over the city. So, there could be a barracks, a guard post, the city watch could be a part of the military. So, if someone messes up, someone stabs up. But one of the best run I have as a DM is when someone commits a crime. When the player commits a crime and city watch arrives immediately. But if it's someone else or an NPC or a villain commits a crime, like no city watch arrives, and then the player has to deal with the crime that they see. You know, that's correct there. That's how you can interact with the player. So there. So SPERM. So next time a your player enters a city, and always think of the sperm. The sperm. Alright, so why are you laughing? It's just what is this something wrong with the acronym? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, that's actually that is supposed to draw, but it's anyway. I think it's time. So there, this is the city that I generated. So this is the one I generated with the map earlier. So feel free to, once you get this, add the stuff there. Again, like I said, one of the important aspects of D&D is immersion. So knowing how far each other, I don't know. This is just one of my first experiences when the players start moving around the map, and I started to describe how far or how long they arrive at one location, and the player asks, wait, how big is this city? Like it took him one day to move from the north to the south. And that's my mistake because I didn't really realize how small the city was that they have to spend a day moving it. But there, immersion and world building, and always think about the sperms.
Remember, always
Okay, so
Thank you.